not. It's because you rented the studio and you broke everything.
What an idiot.
RTI.
That's us, Radio Tetris International Postcard from Poprad. I'm Eric Wilkes at the base of the glorious Tatchy Mountains in our brand new studio. And Hugh in New York says it's lovely. Thank you, Hugh. You're wonderful. Paul's there as well. Hello, Paul. And I think we've got everybody on camera this week as well. So everybody can wave and just behave yourselves. That's all I got to say. Behave yourselves. Don't do any rude gestures. And Paul says it's much better. Ooh, that's good. We've got Dave on the line. We've got a radio special after the last time. So I suppose we'll see if he's there. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
It all works.
It does, doesn't it? You're a bit...
And they're all waving. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
That doesn't really work on the radio.
No, you're a bit muffled, darling.
Am I? Oh, sorry about that.
Are you on a microphone or a phone?
I'm on a microphone.
You're a bit overmodulated.
You're overmodulated here.
That's interesting. Well, shall I just talk while you twiddle with buttons?
I can't twiddle you from this end. It's your end. You can have a little twiddle.
Should I have a little twiddle?
Well, now it works. I'll turn your microphone up.
Oh, right. All right, you started on me, right? That's it.
Yeah.
The war has started.
Yeah, you can say that again. Anyway, let's tell you what's going to happen. Dave's there having a look. I'm here, which is probably not the best place for me to be.
And I'm here.
And Lee's there.
I wasn't supposed to be here.
No, but you are.
I am.
And if I turn that one on, Gaby's there. You have to talk into it like that, darling.
Don't he look like a thin Gerard Butler?
He
Yes.
does.
Yeah, he does. You are the spitting image of a thin Gerard Butler.
What is that shirt he's wearing?
Yeah, what is that shirt you're wearing? You can't have that on. Look!
Hang on, I've not got him. He's not there.
Hello?
I've got you, Dave.
All right, that's okay.
The swinging
I've got
what?
you.
I've no idea. Not with that one. Eric, he's got a knot on his thing.
What?
He's got a bat on his thing.
What, a naughty word?
Yeah, on his thing, and you can see it.
You got a star.
Somebody get
Right,
the
I'm going to say that
Yeah,
word
I know.
with a star in it.
Yeah, it's naughty. It's naughty. Anyway, boys and girls, welcome. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Poprad says Michelle. Steve's there as well.
Hello, Steve.
When Lee leans back, is he scratching his nose or something else?
No, hang on. I'm leaning back. What was scratching? That's. Oh no, it's been. No, I've got an itch.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to travel.
Have I?
I've got a twiddle.
Yeah, we can do that one with the
Hugh
asterisk
says,
in the
Hugh
middle.
says, Paul Dave, twiddle me instead. We're liking this. Afternoon, Steve.
Is that the same Steve? Is that Big Ears?
Yes.
Hello, Big Ears.
I'm not sure
Hello,
what...
Steve.
Oh, that was very polite, Mr. David.
He was very timid, wasn't
Yes,
he?
you're very timid today. What's up?
I don't know.
Well, there's so many other people talking, I can hardly get a word in.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? I have the same problem. I can't get a word in at all, ever.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, before we start, really? I've got to do this.
Oh, no.
Never heard such humbug in all my life.
A bit of humbug from Boris, just to start it off, especially for Steve.
The Big Ears.
Yes, we are going to do an anorak in a minute, but we've got to do some quickie sort of things because it's like that here. If only I could find out which one I've got to be using, that's the one. Jacques Chirac, the former French president, has died at the grand old age of 86. He was quite a character in his day, to be honest.
He was very handsome, very tall, very handsome.
Very
man.
French.
Very French, dear.
Yes. But he spoke English.
That was English.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he was the man who took France into the EU.
He was.
Who
What's up with your audio? You sound like you're locked in the loop.
says?
Steve says that about you. That's rubbish.
That's rubbish. You're talking rubbish, Big Ears.
You mean Dave, not Lee.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, I don't know.
Funny voice.
Lee sounds as though he's in the toilet from where I'm sitting.
Hey,
Oh, he does what?
Oh.
he can't do. He's on the same thing he is. What?
Oh no, I don't want to be down the toilet. You make me sound like
He's not down the toilet at all.
Hang on a minute.
I'll have another word.
Keith Lewis is there. Hello, Keith.
Hello, Keith.
You think you've got trouble with your studio? Goodness sake. It's shocking here, I'll tell you. Anyway, and also Shuping Wang, the whistleblower, who exposed HIV in China. He's died as well.
But she's a she, actually. But it is very sad to hear because she is the person who changed the world for HIV sufferers and everything.
Oh,
No, it's sad. No, it's sad. It's sad.
It's sad,
That's a sad one.
that is
This
sad.
is even sadder, though.
Robert Hunter from the Grateful Dead.
And he's nothing grateful to be about him being dead either. It's a tragedy.
It is rather sad, but I have to say,
Oh, here we go.
the more tragic news
Oh, yeah.
is that Ginger Baker, who was reported as being very ill yesterday, he's passed away.
I can't believe that. That really is sad. To lose Robert Hunter from the Grateful Dead and Ginger Baker in one fell swoop is absolutely tragic. I met Ginger Baker. He was one of the most cantankerous, awkward, drunken people I've ever met in my life, and I adored him like the rest of the world.
I don't know. I just think that of all the supergroups ever made, Cream and Ginger Baker were the best.
Well, they were the first one. Cream was the first supergroup.
Well, it was really.
Then he went on to do Ginger Baker's Air Force, which is where I met him because I was at one of their concerts.
Yeah.
It was stunning, man, stunning.
But
What
he
a
was
madman.
he was like, to drums, he was like Hendrix to guitars.
Yeah, exactly.
His drumming was like an extension of his own body.
There is a new group, not very new group, about 10-year-old group called, I don't mean they're 10 years old in the group, they're grown ups, called the Black Cherry Peas or something. And their drummer, no, the Black Cherry thing, what do you have inside a cherry?
Stone.
Black cherry stones, black stone cherries. I've got there, it's the black stone cherries. They have a drummer who is better than Animal and probably as good as Ginger Baker.
Wow. That is really cool. He was the crop of the cream, says Hugh. And you're actually right here. He really was. He was just...
He was just stunning.
He was more than special.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for me, this one.
Well, when I met him, he could barely get a word out of him. And if he did, it was like the word on his T-shirt. That's all he basically said.
Uh-huh.
He was just chain smoking. He was just cantankerous. He was just swearing at everybody. And I just sat there and thought, I want to be you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
he was just sort of that way orientated, wasn't he? Yeah. Apparently, Ginger Baker was promoted by Ronan O'Reilly in 1963, according to Paul.
Oh, right.
Mitchell says, oh no, Ginger Baker.
We've just done that.
Best drummer by far. He was. He was just out of this world. Dave, are you there?
I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Did you know about Ginger Baker?
I didn't actually. That was a bit of a shock.
Oh.
No, are you upset?
I didn't really know that much about him, but I know he was involved in a project that I was working on a while ago.
Right, what was that?
Oh.
We were working on a pilot for a TV show.
He did fly a plane, didn't he, Ginger Baker?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ow, when he was drunk.
Dave, your microphone is awful.
Yeah, you said I was down the toilet. Well, you're up the creek.
Without a paddle. I'll tell you what you remind me of, Dave.
Go on.
AM radio.
Excellent. Let's stay in that. Let's go back. Things were much simpler in those days.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Didn't have to worry about this B word or anything, which we're not talking about.
B word?
Yes.
What B word?
The B word that everybody's going on about that we're not going to talk about.
No, it's not. It's an F word with a star in the middle.
Oh, you mean humbug?
Oh, that one.
Yes.
Humbug.
That's an H
The
word.
humbug stuff that's going on. Yes,
humbug
that's
stuff.
that
Oh,
B word.
stupid.
Yes, waste of time.
Boris's.
No.
No.
When you leave somewhere, don't say the word. When you leave somewhere, the building.
Vacate.
You don't vacate, you don't leave, something stage right.
Exit.
No! Don't say it, Dave.
What? Don't say exit.
Dave.
You know, this was much simpler when he wasn't here, you know.
I know. God, you know, I feel sad for the people on that sports program now. Is Dave an audio engineer, says Steve? Actually, he's a damn fine one, but he's got a completely broken microphone.
And the bizarre thing is, I've got exactly the same setup as last time I spoke to you.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Eric's power. It's waning.
Oh. Talk amongst yourselves a minute.
All right, he's going to turn.
Is he going to twiddle
on.
his knobs?
Yes, he's twiddling with his knobs in front of me, and he's got that word on his t-shirt. It's disgusting. I'm all alone here.
You've had a pretty rough time there, from what I can gather, Lee.
No, don't show people. What you say, Dave? Sorry.
You're having a pretty rough time there. What with him twiddling his knobs and the t-shirt and everything else.
Yeah, and you say I look like a toilet.
I didn't say that.
You did.
I said you sounded like you were in a toilet.
See, he said I sounded like a toilet. That's disgusting.
No, you were
Yeah,
in
right.
a toilet.
Yeah, you
I knew this
sound.
was going to be trouble. As soon as Gabby started on Facebook this morning.
You sounded a little bit better.
Well, I haven't
That nice
done
Mr.
anything.
Wiltshire's revived you.
Yeah, I think we know what it is.
What is it?
It's the incoming line is too loud.
Your incoming line is too loud.
Hang on, we can hear it. It's buzzing now.
You're buzzing now, David.
I'm buzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like Arthur Askey.
You're very, very,
Who else,
very, very
who else
loud.
in the world will get that apart from Eric?
Do I carry on buzzing if I do this?
No, he's gone now.
No, you're all right now.
He's not. I can't hear a word. Can you hear a word?
You couldn't hear a word because I just muted myself. Hold on.
What did you say?
Oh, he's just thumped everything. I like your style, man.
If it doesn't work,
The other
belt
one.
it.
What I could do,
Work on a number of different things, actually.
what I could do is that.
I've run out of coffee now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can you get me one?
What, you want a coffee?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I couldn't think of a joke to do with coffee and telephones.
I mean, we're not talking anyway, so...
No, just ignore it. Just ignore the audience. We've only got 10 million people listening to us thinking, what they're doing.
Oh, is this
Right,
a radio?
Gabby.
Is this a radio show?
Yeah,
now?
I will interview
No,
Gabby.
no.
Have you ended it?
No. Hello, Jerry.
Hello, Jerry. Are you in the
Jerry's
can?
We got all the way.
Jerry.
That's better, Dave. You're nearly right now.
Oh, that's okay then. How's that?
That's just
Are we
talk.
getting there?
Just talk away from your microphone a bit.
Yeah, go in the next
But
room.
lean back.
Yeah.
No, I've never been told I'm too loud when I'm near you.
Oh, thank you very
Jerry's had a
much.
go at you now, yeah. I'm down the toilet. You're a big gob.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to the bear pit actually,
Go on, then.
about Joe Cox, because they're all moaning about what's been said in Parliament about Joe Cox. And what time does this show start? I have no idea, Keith.
This is just a production meeting.
Yeah, this is just off-air stuff,
Yeah.
as we do.
You're just listening before we start. Yeah, you're in the green room with us.
In the green room with us. When does the show? Oh, that's Steve, you're too slow.
Yeah, he's already said that.
Got started already. Commons Bear Pit thing, where there was a big barney after they came back into Parliament in the UK, and Boris mentioned Joe Cox. Everybody went up in arms, but they didn't listen to him.
Well, no, basically what Boris was saying, and let's just be sensible about this. I watched Boris's performance all the way through, and he was a bit angry, he was a bit wild, just as was that little Corbyn chap who was opposite. And but what he actually was saying about Joe Cox is the best way we can respect the memory of Joe Cox is by feeding democracy and by doing what the people wanted. It wasn't anything to do with her and her political views.
Never heard such humbug in all my life.
Thank you.
Your humbug, you know. Anybody else is. Your humbug is terrible. But no, I think everyone's got far too heated. They should all calm down a bit. And bottom line is, they just need a general election over there. End of story. That will sort it all out, and then we'll figure out what's going to go on from there.
I think you're right. I really think you're right. Let's just do and go for a general election. We need to get back to serving democracy. We need to get back to what made this country strong. We've been destroyed, decimated for 3 years by the loss of democracy, by idiotic arguing on both sides. On both sides, we are now a very weak country. Let's get back to strength.
Yeah, he's gone humbug as well. Anyway, we move on because we're trying to do radio this week a bit.
What about that radio sadness at the top? We're not doing that.
No,
Oh,
because we're going to be happy today.
oh, all right.
Question time, yes. He's a bit like question time today, isn't it? Who's going to wear the skirt then and talk in a high
I'll
voice?
wear the skirt. We're talking high voice.
That'll be apt. Apparently, there's this new social Dave, help me out. Dave,
Yeah, Dave.
Yes, I'm still here.
are you? Even though you are quiet. There is a new social radio startup called Stationhead.
Like Radiohead.
No,
Spell radio.
this is not radio. And the idea is it turns ordinary users into streaming radio DJs.
Oh my God.
Streaming or streaming?
Yeah,
Streaming, I think.
Well, is that a good idea? Dave, is that a good idea?
I don't know.
Oh,
It could be. Then it might be a terrible, terrible idea because everybody will think, I can be a DJ.
that's the problem. That's the
And we've
problem.
proved categorically that I can't be.
Well, let's put it this way. It happened in journalism about a decade and a half ago when everybody suddenly became citizen journalists. And that meant they got no idea about journalism. They got no idea how to write. They got no idea about the law. They got no idea about anything to do with the thing that they were pretending to be. And now it's happening in radio. Everybody could be a radio star if they want to be, but they don't know.
No, well, they can't.
Well, exactly. That's my point. They can't.
How
Well,
can-
they think they can.
I think the problem you've got is that radio in the UK, if you tune around the radio dial, there is no personality there. It is corporate and dull. So people are just trying to find an alternative, and they've just decided that they're going to do it themselves.
Right. But
So,
it's not going to work, is it?
Well, no. I mean, if everybody does it, then there'd be so many. I mean, there's loads and loads of internet stations as it is. And so you're just going to create even more. And who's going to listen to them? And
Exactly.
The one thing that I'm sort of, I mean, I'd had one email this week from a guy who said, after so many, I can't remember what he is, I've closed my internet radio station down because nobody was listening to it. Do you want my show? And I wrote back to him quite, I wasn't terse or anything. And I said, with the greatest respect, I don't know what your show's like, so how do I know if I want it? Could you send it over? I've had no reply.
And also, isn't it a good advert for his show that nobody was listening to it? So would you like it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
You don't know what it is.
Exactly, that's the point. So why would you send it to a successful station saying, here, mine's a load of rubbish, nobody listens to it, put this on for us?
oh, hang on.
Oh,
They're
right.
kicking off on the thing again.
Who them people?
Then people are kicking off. Keith has made the comment that we lost democracy years ago. We can't have an
3 years ago.
according to Steve, we can't have an election in November. If you call it earlier, then Parliament will be shut for 6 weeks, so no deal Brexit would go through. I don't care.
I don't really.
No. I'm sure there's 17.5 million people that wouldn't care either.
Exactly. And the 30 million people who didn't bother to vote anyway haven't really got any right to have a say in it. Yeah.
And then here we go, because I'm going to rant.
All right, that's all right.
I'm going to rant. I am. Are you ready, Dave?
go on.
Because you're one as well.
Oh, you
Oh,
are.
God.
You're one.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Mr. Mann has said. But most journalists haven't got a clue. If they did, why do they have editors?
What an idiot. Well, he's just an idiot. The man's an idiot.
What a
He's just an
numpty.
idiot. He really is. He's just an idiot. Edit that out. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The reason you have editors is
It's called experience,
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, carry on what you're saying, right? Yeah.
It's experience of the law, ongoing knowledge, because most of the citizen journalists And to a greater degree, most of the people who think they can shout about everything, which are called activists,
Yeah.
they wouldn't know A for a bull's foot about how to put something in the media.
And also, just look at it this way: all this world full of activists, where would they be activists if it wasn't for Facebook?
Well, they wouldn't, because nobody talked to them.
Exactly. And also, the simple fact is that a journalist is somebody who generally is quite well paid to do a job of disseminating and understanding news.
And they're quite well travelled, quite worldwide,
Yeah.
and not single cultured.
Yeah.
You know, they're very multicultural people.
Yeah.
Should I go on?
And also, so can I just go on a bit?
Yeah.
We're talking about editors, you see. What an editor is there for? It's not for what Big Ears says. An editor is there to design and get a direction for his newspaper, any kind of media. That's what he's there for. It's to look at which direction his organ, if you forgive the word, should be headed in. Not to make sure that things are right. He has sub-editors to do that. Sub-editors have the job of checking facts. So if you want to make a point, because this man is also the man who will always make a point on Facebook, and when you ask him a question, will never respond. And that really, to me, is the lowest form of propaganda, political propaganda that you can actually give. Make an outrageous statement, somebody challenges you, move on to your next outrageous statement. It's got no basis in truth.
Exactly. And it's always been the case where editors have been there because, do you know what?
They're good at the job.
Like politicians, ordinary journalists can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And to make sure it doesn't go to the public, they have an editor.
No, that's a sub-editor. The editor
sub-editor
decides it.
Yeah. But no, we have editors in media, in proper media. You have to have two lots because you're so rubbish. But describe a TV editor, Dave.
A TV editor? Well, there's various different types. I mean, there's an editor who sits in a room and edits the program together.
Yeah.
And he will have some journalistic control.
That
But
is your
over him, there'll be a producer telling him how he wants that piece put together.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Well done. Well said.
Yeah. So,
Is what about the government influencing TV and newspapers and stuff like that.
The government has an influence on it, obviously, because it runs the country and newspapers and television and radio
talk to
report.
the journal. They talk to the government. Yeah.
They're about to say, if you had a media that didn't represent the government, then it would be a dissident media. You know, you have to represent the government just as you have to represent Jeremy Corbyn and Boris Johnson.
You have to report
What's
the
going
facts.
And
You have to,
yeah,
It always happens.
No,
it happens.
not always, no. Because
Why?
people make mistakes sometimes.
People make mistakes, but also remember, and this is what everybody forgets.
I know, because the media in Holland is different. You've got newspapers specifically for political groups, more so than the UK. It's a slightly different newspaper set up in Holland.
So I'm more talking about, that the government or that the very rich people are trying to stop the media and the press.
Oh yeah.
No. This is
tell the stories.
all this. The very rich people is trying to stop everything.
But they are. I don't agree with it.
But it's the same as, for example, we I think, Steve, what's Mr. Corbyn's catchphrase? The one where he says,
I'm a knob.
No. What has he said? It's government for the many, not the few, or something. Yes, that's
Something like that.
Yeah. So then we get this woman, what's her name, Gemma thingy.
The rich socialist.
The very, very rich lady.
The very rich socialist.
Who has gone to court more than once and paid the bill.
Yeah.
And yet Jeremy Corbyn
And yet she doesn't share her wealth.
No, of course not. Like when there was a load of people in serious trouble trying to get into the UK because of war, I didn't see anybody in her guest bedroom.
No, exactly, no. But can I just answer Gabby's point?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, you just normally go anyway. So
I'm being polite because we've got two guests. No, what you're talking about, and Eric is actually not quite right about this. The rich do have methods of keeping stories out of the press, and that is called gagging orders and super what's-its, which they can afford to do, where a court will then decide, no, you can't print that because you've just paid our friends, the lawyers, millions of pounds to have it stopped. Ultimately, those stories come out.
Impossible.
Well, of course they can.
No, if they present a legal, they have to get a legal case that stacks up.
Yeah.
Da-di-da-di-da. So whilst
Super
they have
injunctions don't necessarily have to have any great meaning in law.
any great meaning, but they have to be meaningful in law.
Well, it's basically what it is.
You can't just go write a new law for every
No,
bullshit.
but what you could say is, I will be very upset that it will embarrass me in front of my family, and they do not deserve it. Therefore, I will give these lawyers £2 million to put that through the court, and they'll just go, all right, duck.
No.
It's the first bit of silence this show's over the years.
Yeah, exactly. Couple of messages. Charles says, hi to all from Lord Charles. Hello, Lord Charles.
Hello, Lord Charles.
Hi from the UK. Midnight Mark has joined us. No way.
Ooh,
Not Midnight Mark.
Midnight Mark.
Well, we'll have to stop playing the Boat That Rocks theme in a minute. What about the blamed journalist at the BBC who was characterised for relaying her experience about racism? Which numpty decided that was wrong?
That's a very contentious point.
It is
isn't it?
actually.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, Donald Trump said that basically all people of colour, women of colour, actually it was women of colour, should go home and help sort out the problems in their crime-ridden own countries.
Mm-hmm.
This journalist reported that, had an opinion on it, and for some inexplicable reason, the BBC have taken umbrage, and she could actually lose her job without doing it. The NUJ, the National Union of Journalists, are fighting for her, quite rightly, and I, at the Consumer Watch Foundation, are going to do a story on her next week, and we will support her.
Yeah, well, I think that's right. Because
It's all a lie.
yeah, well, yeah, and the problem is that it's got, it's like the report that for some bizarre reason never went in a lot of areas, but went in others.
What's that?
When they actually analysed the BBC recently, and actually said that the BBC were biased towards the left, not the right. There was a big study done about it. Now, funnily enough, nobody from the left newspapers said, oh, look, we've got a broadcaster we can talk to. They're on our side. Of course they didn't, because they won't.
And while we're on about it at the BBC,
That's why we have stations, radio stations like LBC in London, and this programme to actually go, no, you're all talking. Excuse me a moment, I'm going to play it again. Where is it? There it is.
Never heard such humbug in all my life.
Because I've never heard so much humbug in all my life.
absolutely. I was just going to say about Cliff Richard, that was quite underreported, although the BBC did do 3 paragraphs on it. And I'm sure they mentioned it on the broadcast, but Cliff Richard had his award against the BBC more than halved because the crime that the BBC committed wasn't anything like the crime that the courts decided they got it. That was an attack on the media by the courts.
Yep.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And the courts are not the boss.
No, of course they're not.
No, it's the lawmakers.
Yeah, they are the arbiters. They're not in charge.
No. And the sooner people realise that, the better off we'll all be. Have we got any idea of a name? No, Steve, sorry, I cannot remember for the life of me what the lady's name was. But the bottom.
Oh no,
No, wrong one altogether. But the bottom line is there is too much harassment of both members of parliament, journalists, people who tell the truth, because you know what? On the right and the left and in the middle, nobody wants the truth. They don't want the truth.
No, what they only want is their own truth.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm really, really lucky on this topic because on my Facebook news thingy, I get both left and right people who, because I've been in radio for many, many years, we seem to sort of catch both sides. And, you know, one minute you've got Mr. Corbyn is the new Messiah. Underneath you've got Boris Johnson's the new Messiah. And they follow each other. And I see this stuff, and the vitriol that comes out from people who wouldn't have had a good CB name back in the 70s, let alone able to do anything today is absolutely ridiculous.
I think you're right.
And do you know what? I'm not going to report on these people anymore. I'm going to go back to what we do well, which is expose everybody for what they do, like we're doing next week.
Yeah.
By the way, we've got a big story breaking next week about Land Rover.
Oh, right, we're telling the people now.
We've got a big story. And the nice thing is that we resolved something that they said wasn't resolvable.
Well, it's not the first time it's happened, but this one is also very, very funny. Not funny for the person involved.
Thanks, Dave. Naganonchetti. That was the lady's name.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Nagan.
it,
Yeah.
But it wasn't funny for the person involved who'd spent a fortune on this particular vehicle.
Yep.
But it was very funny to see the way that the company handled it. In an embarrassing way for the company.
Well, I did find out yesterday that they don't think I'm a very nice person.
Well,
Tough.
it doesn't mean just because they've been silly that they don't have good judgment.
Thank you. Anyway, big story about Range Rover and what happens if you get the bits. Are Land Rover moving to Slovakia? No, they're not moving. They've moved.
They're here.
They've already moved.
Yeah. They broke down a lot on the way, though.
Yeah, one of the wires fell off.
What happens? They've just released the new Lego Land Rover.
That's the one they've
Has
been
it got an
doing.
electric motor?
Probably.
I have no idea. It looks quite cool, though. It's a version of the new Defender.
He's a Lego freak.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have you
You're
ever
a bit of a
I
Lego
don't
freak.
do that one.
You are a Lego freak.
Okay, I know people who are a lot more of a Lego freak than I am.
Yes, but you're still a Lego freak.
I freaked out
Yeah.
when I stood on some Lego.
Well, I did that many times when kids were younger, but I mean, having said all
I
of
think
that,
everybody stood on Lego in their
It's
feet.
worse than a plug.
I honestly, what do they call it? Scientific Lego?
Technical Lego.
Technical Lego. I've never understood that.
Technical Lego.
No, I don't get it.
Oh, I see, I understand, yeah.
Because how can technical Lego be technical when it's got square edges?
Yeah, but it hasn't all got square edges.
What was that? Technology doesn't have square edges.
Well, my round pop shield.
Oh, dear.
And the one sitting in front of your eyes right now.
Oh, dear. My eyes are falling to sleep, can you tell?
Yeah, I had noticed. Apparently, there's a radio station called Radio Minerva in Antwerp that has just entered the digital age this year.
I know.
They've gone online for the first time this year. And they're going on and on about it as if it's something new.
Well, what do you think, Dave? Is real radio dead now? Has everything got to be digital? Or is there no room left for good old-fashioned radio? This Radio Minerva was doing really well.
When it's interesting, this one. When you say real radio, are we talking about like FM and AM and DAB and internet radio, or the world has changed? We've moved on. I mean, a lot of people don't actually watch the TV live; they just watch on-demand services.
That's funny.
So,
yeah, true. Because I do. Actually thinking about it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So the world is moving on, and it will get to a point where you won't have like a TV channel with a schedule. You'll just go to somewhere and you'll just watch the latest episode because you know it's been put up online that day.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting. Yeah.
maybe radio is going the same way. But
That's better. What have you just done?
That's better.
I haven't touched a thing.
You must have done because your audio's gone nice and clean.
You've got really nice.
It must be. It's because I've had a chance to talk. Because you lot have been talking so much.
You moved away from the microphone, haven't you?
Anyway, let's not do this again.
Let's not.
He's
Is this
doing
production
talking.
meeting finished?
And we're all talking about him doing talking.
Well, hang on, before we do that, Ian says, good afternoon, gents. Enjoyed the conversation so far. Thank you, Ian.
Hello, Ian.
Keith says there are fields of Range Rovers with mirrors missing around here.
Are there? Why?
I don't know.
Tell us why the mirrors are missing.
I have no idea.
Can't see it myself.
No, that's true.
Shall we reflect on that?
Yes.
Yeah, we're.
That was very good.
Thank you.
That was
I'm
very
all
good. Crosswell's just dropped in to say hi. Congrats on the new studio. And he's put all sorts of love and headphones and music things there. You're very welcome, young man. And I have to say, because it's a radio show, this was a young man that came to us a few years ago. All very nervous, weren't you? And he used to call me boss. I said, for God's sake, stop calling me boss.
Is that because you look like a headphone?
I said, please call me Eric. So then he went to Mr. Eric. Now we're Eric. We're all on the same line. And this guy should have been on radio.
Yeah.
He needed time to mature. And that is what radio can do. It can find talent. And this guy is now a really well-known mixing DJ, does his own sets, his own mixes, and does an amazing radio show. And he's stuck to it. And the one thing he's done is he's stuck to it and just keeps sticking to it. And he's now getting the payback for what he put in the front end of radio.
That's the way it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah, good man. If radio wants to continue, then they have to go digital, as few young people know how to use analog radios. Back to Dave.
Well, is it difficult? You just switch it on.
Dave,
Yes, I'm still here.
would you
I couldn't
tell
get
him?
in.
Did you? Because you're our UK correspondent as well. Obviously, we can't watch BBC television here.
No.
No. So, do you remember when it was Radio 1's 50th birthday?
Only because I'm an anorak and I knew.
Right. And on
There was quite a lot of bits and pieces flying around, and they set up their own little BBC Radio 1 archive channel.
you're
on
too close to the microphone again. Yeah.
See, made the best
Need
of
to
it.
move
that
away.
way.
Need to move away a little bit. Anyway, the bottom line was they had because somebody told me about this. I obviously never saw it. They had this program where a reporter went round asking young people to tune in radio sets.
Right.
Did you see that, Dave?
Yeah, I know what's coming.
What happened?
Yeah. They had no clue what to do.
I never thought about tuning in.
Well, you don't have young children anymore, don't you?
No, they don't tune anything.
No, they don't tune in.
No, nobody tunes anything.
No, but you have to tune
Everything
in.
has an app.
There's an app.
Yeah, you have.
It's called app.
But you have to press something to go looking for another channel if you get fed up with the one you're on. And that's only the same as tuning it in.
No,
Yes.
because when you push the button, it goes straight there. You don't have to fiddle.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a bit of fiddling.
He still thinks that little eye on the radio that helps him tune in is the way to make it work.
A little golden eye,
Yeah. They don't use them anymore.
don't they?
No. No, they're finished.
That's stupid.
They are dead in the water.
Oh,
You used to have to
Jedi.
remember the frequency of the radio station.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
Helvetian.
Oh
Helvetia.
dear. It's all gone terribly wrong.
Helvetia.
Should we do the radio song?
In the days before rock and roll.
Oh, that's his favourite radio song. Mine is.
No, it's no.
I thought it was.
Well, I suppose it kind of is. Oh, I've got loads of.
Oh, right.
Oh, there's a shortage. Boss Eric. Oh, ha ha ha. Crosswell, well done. Where can we hear Crosswell on RTI? Tuesdays, every Tuesday. A lot of good things coming up, Eric. Well done. That's what you do, you see. You work hard, you get on somewhere. Good on you, mate. Radio is like a cockroach. They keep stamping on it, trying to kill it off, and it always pops back up again and staggers on. Well, that's actually kind of true in a lot of ways. It does go through phases. The big frequency changes happened 19th of November. Oh, droll, very droll. And the fact is, nobody wants to muck about tuning in anymore. Now, I will confess, because I will, that I still have a Hitachi World satellite radio. Has a little dish on the back of it. You played one from it, didn't you, Dave?
Yes. I think I nicked yours.
Yeah, you nicked mine. And it does shortwave, long wave, AM, FM, blah, blah, blah. And occasionally I have a moment of madness. And I sit out in the garden and I have a little twiddle to see what I can find, which is very little. Now, in my car, if you turn it to FM, what comes out?
Oh, well, you don't know in this case. Anything could come out if easy.
If you turn onto FM in my car, nothing comes out.
Yeah, but in my car,
AM, nothing comes out.
my car has a digital radio.
DAB, nothing
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah, my car has a digital radio in it. Doesn't
Yes.
it? Yes, right. That's right.
No,
And if I-
yours is analog.
Is that a good thing?
No.
Oh. It plays thing, iPod.
Yeah, but that's just because it's connected to it through Bluetooth.
Do you have DAB in your in the radio in your car, Lee?
How would I know?
No,
I've
Dave.
got a thing with a switch on it, you press it and it comes on.
Yeah.
And then you plug your iPod into it and it plays your iPod.
Dave, it's AM, FM, Bluetooth.
Right. Okay. So you haven't got a digital radio in your car, Lee?
No.
Well, that's because it's a Bentley. You don't have them in Bentleys.
Oh. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Traditional, see?
Yeah,
Traditional.
right. Okay.
There are so many comments that are coming to mind, but most of them I can get sued for. So I'm going to say that.
Radio should be updated with the new technology. I agree.
Yes.
I agree, Crosswalk. It should be done like that. And it is. To finish my statement, when I get in my car and turn the engine on, the radio comes on, right?
No, not all the time, because I sit there very often next to you, waiting for you to be, oh, shall we beat that? Why won't it come on? Look at that, it's not come
That was
on.
because I've been playing with it somewhere else. Because I'm a little pain in the bum with technology.
You know, just down the phone.
Right. It comes on. As long as I haven't been doing some VPNing or something.
All
So
right.
it comes on. And
Usually
it
on
just-
the back seat, don't you?
it just happens. I don't have to put it into a bracket. I can leave my bag in the back of the car and it still works. It don't matter. And that is the simplicity of it. I don't have to remember where to find the frequency. And we used to look them up all the time.
It's in my radio.
It's not.
It is. I
Where?
just switch my thing on and but it comes on.
When and you
Yes, but you've got it preset.
yes.
At some point, you put those things in, and you've got a button that you can push.
No,
Yes.
I just turn the ignition on, and sometimes my engine doesn't work because it's a Bentley, and but my radio always comes on.
Yes. So let's just try this one. A new radio station starts that you are besotted with and you want to listen.
Yeah.
You haven't got the frequency for it for your car.
Depends how often I want to listen to it. Ha 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 ha!
No.
Frequency. Yeah, right. Oh.
Yeah. So how'd you get it?
It depends what it. I just look for it
Where?
on my thing,
What, on your radio?
on my radio.
It doesn't
thing.
tell you the frequency.
Well, I'll just keep going until I find it.
You'd be there all day.
But he might be using the name in the RDS display.
Yeah,
That could happen, yeah, but
see.
that's Lee and he's not.
Yeah.
Whereas all I've got to do is put in our case, in any of the apps, because we're so unique. I know, I'm watching the time as well. You just type the word Tatras
Yeah.
and you will find us.
Yeah, see, so you've got to look for it in a different way. You just don't twiddle your knob now. You've got to get your key.
You just type it in and it comes up.
What's the difference between twiddling your knob and typing? You still get to
Because
use your
you know,
fingers.
it comes up, it shows you a little image. You go, oh yeah, that's the one I want. I'll click on that and it plays. I haven't got to sit there, twiddle. Oh, I missed one. Oh, hang on.
You
no.
might not. I just press a button and it goes like and flicking through everything.
And if you're parked behind a brick wall or something that's blocking the signal, you won't find it.
It needs hiding from the police.
I must have a burial card because my radio is working.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not really. We are both actors.
Are you?
You two are anoraks, and we are actors.
We are.
Really?
Right, okay.
Oh, well, don't worry about that. But anyway, the point being, you've got to move forward. If you and the model that can be shown as moving forward is television. Television was struggling, and the minute they got hold of it and it went digital, all of a sudden, it was all acceptable.
Well, is it telly all digital now?
Of course. Where have you
Which rock has Lee been living under?
I don't know. I'm confused now.
Well, what was it before if it wasn't digital?
Analog.
Analog. I went out with her.
Do you know what? This is the man that says I can write about television or radio as a journalist. Yeah, right.
Oh dear.
I didn't know this. I didn't know. I thought it was still Anna who did it.
Do you remember Lee, do you
Yes.
remember when there was the big thing about going to digital and they were going to turn the analog off?
On the radio, yeah, I remember
No,
that
on the
nice
telly.
Jim Hawkins at Radio Shropshire talking about it.
So when that happened, we moved from analog TV.
Yeah.
If you were watching analog TV, when they turned it off, it wasn't there, and a lot of people didn't have anything to watch.
Did
So
I have
if
to
you,
go out and buy a new telly?
a lot of people had to go out and buy a new telly or a set-top box.
Yeah, an adapter.
I
Yeah.
didn't do that. I'm still watching Anna.
You're
You
not.
can't be turned it off.
You're not watching Anna. You haven't been watching Anna since you started watching television here.
Oh, well, how long ago?
The first television you got here was a digital television.
Ah, is it Anna still doing it in Britain now?
No. Well, no.
Well, what's happened to Anna then?
She passed away.
Oh, no, not her as well as Ginger Baker.
Miranda says, "Hi guys, I'm Miranda."
Bye.
Hello, Miranda.
If DAB takes over and they switch off analog frequencies,
See?
what will happen to people who have only built-in analog radios? They don't work. Although you can actually get a converter.
Analog converter.
There's a little box that you can get which talks to your analog radio and gives you DAB from it.
So Anna's been converted. She's now a thespian like we're actors.
Anna was
Thankfully, there's no switch-off date for analog radio in the UK yet.
yes.
No, that's what I was saying.
It will happen.
Jim Hawkins
Yeah.
on Radio Shropshire, you know, that nice little rotund person.
Sure, no, radio.
Of course you
I
do.
got a
See,
very old
they're
car
just
named
making it
Dick
up. They're anoraks, not analogs. They're anoraks.
Excuse me, Mr. Lewis
don't
says.
know.
Guys in digital.
They have no idea what they're talking about. They just pretend.
Mr. Lewis reckons I'm winding everybody up.
Yeah, because you're just making it up.
I'm not.
I thought Dave Rose is just going along with you.
Oh dear.
I know, Dave. I know.
Mitchell, we've just said that you can buy a box that you can put in your car, which switches your AM/FM radio to a DAB.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure. And you have to have a big box, wouldn't you?
It's only a diddy little box in the car. It's about the size of a cigarette packet.
What is?
The converter box you put in the car.
So you have to have a converter box.
to listen
so-
to digital radio.
Right. So if you didn't have the box, you'd still be listening to analog. I
No,
rest
'cause
my
once
case.
it's
Me
gone
and
off-
the actor
Once
here,
it's gone off, you'd hear nothing.
well, it's like listening to most of the digital radio. Nothing.
Well,
Just a
that's-
load of rubbish.
Well, that's why internet is taken off faster
Yeah.
than DAB.
Radio 6 is brilliant.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you want
Russia.
to get
Agree on
some.
that.
Yeah, we agree. The actors agree.
Well,
Although I have a very old car and I have analog radio.
What
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of car do you have?
It's a Renault.
A Renault.
A Renault.
10 years
A
old.
Renault.
A Renault.
Have they given any news out, Dave, about the switch off? Because it was going to be 2015. at some point.
No.
I don't think so. Hang on, I'll have a look.
Will you?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. This is fast moving stuff, isn't it? Flipping heck.
Ooh. Is your car French then?
I've just noticed something
It's
wonderful.
French, yeah.
So a bit of technology, I've just noticed something wonderful.
What?
Our recording is so beautifully clean now.
Is it?
Yes. I
No
think you.
dirty words apart from on his t-shirt.
Well, that's very true. Anyway, we move on with some more stuff
Yeah.
because we've got to do a bit on Gaby in a minute.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'll sulk.
Hmm.
He will. He'll cry.
You will, I know. I've seen him
I
cry.
think you might have to get closer to Lee's microphone because you're not getting the hang of that microphone. So just pass
Hold
it.
this up in front of your gob.
I still can use it for it.
Just,
Not like that. Like,
Don't worry about it.
Do you want the technical answer to when are they going to turn off FM then?
Yes, please.
The British government has yet to decide on a date to switch over from FM to digital radio completely. It has to be undertaken within 2 years of the following criteria being met. National digital radio coverage to match FM, local digital radio to reach 90% of the population, and 50% of radio listening to be on digital radio platforms.
see?
So they've hit the first one, the last one rather,
I think so, yeah.
because there's more than 50% of people have digital radio and
So
listen
analog still exists.
for a little bit.
Well, was that not what we were
That's what
saying?
the actor
Exactly,
said,
thank you. And they said it did. And the dog died.
He was
And the dog
technical.
died, he said.
Analog telly died. That's what we were talking about.
Lee's, do you think Lee's winding me up? You got to be kidding. He's got the best cardboard key I've ever seen in my life. But there you go, that's another story. So, yeah, it will happen like television. Television does tend to do things a lot quicker. The radio people tend to be old-fashioned and sit on things for a great deal longer. But that only
Sit on their
applies
butts.
to Europe.
Yeah.
In other parts of the world, you couldn't kick analog off so quickly because digital doesn't reach the parts that it needs to reach.
Honestly, Gabby, with the greatest of respect to the two anoraks, did we or did we not say that analog still existed?
We did.
And they said
We are
it
not even
did.
technical
And now
base.
they're actually admitting that it exists.
We were talking about television, weren't we?
Yeah, we were talking about
I
television.
thought we were.
Yeah, I know. They can't listen. Hello, Sandra, because she wants us to say hello to her.
Hello, Sandra.
It's Sandra TV.
Hello.
Sandra TV.
Sandra
Do
TV.
you know analog?
Hey.
No, she'll be doing digital, darling. Thank God for that. We want to move on, Dave, because we're actually going to take some of your brains here.
Ooh.
Oh my word, this isn't going to take long.
Well, what do you mean
Hannibal
it won't take-
Wiltshire.
what do you mean it won't take long?
There's not many brains.
Well, that's very true. When you want to get into the media, and
Yes.
you've seen a load of people I know, so it gets me off the hook, come in at certain levels, then go to the next level, then go to the next level, da-di-da-di-da, through the especially the television company, Molyneux, and all those people that you work for. So, what would be your top advice to somebody just starting in the video side of the media?
If you're just starting, the best thing you can do is go and find a production company or a post-production company that you want, depending on what sort of video you want to work. If you want to produce videos but don't have the technical skill to do it, then you go to a production company. If you want to edit video, go to a post-production company. And you start off by doing either work experience or get a job as a runner, which is a pretty grotty job, I'll admit. But if you're a good runner and you interact with the staff and you show an interest and you put the hours in, you will go up the tree and you will move from a runner very quickly up to being assistant editors and learning how all the kit works.
What about being on the talent side?
On the talent side, I don't know. I haven't got any talent. Talent, there's various ways you can go around doing things. You can, there's lots of people who run like mini courses that charge you a fortune. I'm not 100% convinced they will work, but get yourself together a show reel. If it's video work you want to do, your mates can cut together or film you presenting to camera, and then you just send those off to agents and see where you go and get advice that way.
Mm. And mix with the people as well.
Yeah, go to things and mingle with people. It's definitely a case of who you know, not what you know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, it's the same every which way.
Sad, though, isn't it?
Why?
Sad.
It's the same in the movie industry, isn't it?
Well, it is, but why would that? Why is that a good thing? It's who you know, not what you know. Wouldn't it be better to know a lot and mix with people as well?
Yeah,
The right people as well. And that's the way it should be.
I'm going to get shot for this statement, but I'll say it anyway.
go on.
A lot of the people that I worked with when I was in post-production, we were getting lots of people coming from university who didn't understand the concept that, yes, you've got a qualification as long as your arm, but you've still got to start in the kitchen making tea and coffee and taking it to the clients.
Yeah.
And they thought that they should be going in as a producer or a director. And it's one of those roles and it's one of those industries you have to work your way up and prove yourself.
Yeah, I know, I agree. There's no substitute for the experience that you get that enables you to produce the show reel.
Precisely.
Nothing at all. And if you can't, and it doesn't matter what area you're in, and I'm sure Ian's listening as he always does. And he worked Ian was my agent in the UK, fabulous agent. And sort of December, I would work the most ridiculous levels of hours, but I'd be reaching millions and millions of people. And the reason for that was I served my apprenticeship, and you can't beat it. You honestly can't beat it. You've got to get out there. You offer to make the tea. In video terms, if you can get in with a company and just offer to make the tea and go round to the people so you can find out and just get into the sort of I know it's the pubs they go to in so many areas, but the clubs, unwritten clubs of people. And if you don't do that, you're never going to get in that little group.
That's what I began on weekly newspapers, and I worked my way up to work on national newspapers, edit newspapers, not national newspapers, but edit daily newspapers, regionals, and worked on the National Enquirer in America, worked on various papers everywhere. But what it was that ultimately I had a package of experience and knowledge and understanding that allowed me to worked on the war in Iraq, worked on Diana's death, and everything. I worked on the biggest news stories there were. Now, just because you know somebody next door who's in the industry doesn't mean that you have the experience to do that kind of thing.
Steve, you numpty. Do the students learn how to make a cup of tea on their courses? No, because if they can't make a cup of tea, they're not clever enough to be on the course. And that's the end of that one. Lock, stock and smoking barrel. So, I mean, it is a case of what you know, who you know. There is an element of that. There is an element of going to do something and sticking to it like glue, so you can prove your worth. And
there's a bit of luck in there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look what happened with me. I always wanted to work in radio. Unfortunately, I bumped into you through a local RSL.
Yeah.
And then you invited me up to CMR and QCMR and QEFM, and I was up there answering the phones and making coffee.
Yeah.
Then your engineer 1 week didn't turn up. You knew I could drive a desk. I drove a desk, and the rest is history.
Yeah. And then you ended up at Molly's.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things. You put in the hours. I mean, I didn't get paid for making teas and coffees and answering the phones when I was working with you. So,
you're never going to happen.
But I was doing a job somewhere else, which was like 9 till 5 job, and then I was working at CMR from like 7 o'clock in the evening till 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
At one point.
But it was the same with Leggy Laura, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Leggy Laura.
Leggy Laura.
Oh,
We're allowed to call her Leggy Laura.
Leggy Laura and a log.
Yeah, Laura came to us, Dave and I, to be trained in radio, and she ended up.
Big fail.
Sorry?
A big fail. Come to us to be trained in radio.
Well, there is that. But she ended up doing the breakfast show on the Gold Network in the UK with Tony Blackburn. She was headhunted to go there. And you know, Laura, she actually had the gall to stick at it, and then worse still, Dave, she came on the telly with us.
I know, scary, eh?
It is really scary. So the summary is: stick at it.
Yeah.
Go meet the people. Go and help out, even though you are never the boss when you start. And the other thing is, in media, you never are the boss.
No.
You never know everything.
No.
That's the problem. You never, ever know everything.
You will never, ever know everything because the media changes on a daily basis. Which reminds me, I've got to do this. It's that time, Dave. Dave.
Yes, what?
It's that time.
What time?
Where I have to ask you what you're doing this weekend.
Oh, this weekend? Well, if the weather's good, I'm going to Horsham on Sunday to their Americana, which should be full of American cars and bikes and stuff, down in Horsham Town Centre. So
with gas guzzling and no EVs.
And no EVs whatsoever.
Are you going to wear your anorak?
No, I'm not.
Actually, I don't think he's got an anorak.
No, I haven't.
He said he stole the
I
diesel.
don't blame you either, mate. I don't have an anorak either. Anyway, well, good luck with that, Dave.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries. See you later.
Ta-ta, mate. Cheers.
Bye.
Lee, what are you up to?
Well, actually, I'm just going to tell the people very quickly that I was a musketeer in a film about Oliver Cromwell on BBC of many years ago. So my fellow actor here, after I've said bye-bye, everybody, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm gonna do this weekend, I go Japanese, and hopefully in November, Keizerskou will come out, where you all can see me perform and act. And we're currently working on Commandos, where I will be a stuntman and Bulgarian mafia.
Ooh,
Darius, love you.
Oh, I like that. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much indeed, everybody. Apologies for me still trying to get my head around how the thing works, but if nothing else, it looks pretty. It does look pretty, but we'll get to the. To be honest, we've still got a few bits to put in that I haven't done yet. So next week it should be marvellous. Thank you to everybody who contributed, of course, as usual. You are very wonderful. I hope you have a lovely weekend. I might just manage to get the bike out this weekend. So if you're in Poprad, never mind. I'm going to be really upsetting and noisy and horrible. But there again, that's nothing new.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
The Steve Bishop Show is ready to depart. Stand clear of the doors, please.
Drat, double drat, and triple